Let me get a video in real quick. I don't think I did one yesterday, so I got to catch up. I'm waiting for the Eagles game to come on, but I'm gonna share a couple things with you today, real quick. Um, One, Kenyatta Black. Shout out to Kenyatta Black. I'm gonna share a little Kenyatta Black video, and then I'm gonna share a Shaheed Bolson with the Middle Nation, and they're gonna talk about the tragic situation that happened the other day. Um, and I'm gonna let them explain it because I'm staying on and staying focused on femicide. That's the 1% that they don't talk about, and I'm talking about black women. The names that I've been using so far is Larisha uh, Sherelle Thompson, Larisha Thompson. That was past May 2025. Like a week ago, Dakara Thompson. Like I said, that was like a week ago. And then the one that popped up in my feed every year is Ebony Kitchen. Now, Ebony Kitchen was out of Philadelphia. That was December 2020. At the top of COVID. I really don't even know if they found the killer or et cetera, et cetera. But we're talking about young black women. Larisha being a mother of two. The first two, the most recent ones, were murdered by illegal immigrants, and Ebony Kitchen. I think they did. It wasn't a. It wasn't a. It was a. I think it was an immigrant or like a Spanish that they first arrested, but then it was a black guy, and I think they're still looking for her killer, or should I unalive her without losing being striked for using the wrong speech on YouTube. But this is Volothant Modulus Tautology. I'm here to just drop some knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That right there. Oh, let me take it off. Right. What I'm showing right there is my peace symbol, but or should I say, set theory of how peace, unity, and having fun should be. But we'll get more into that right there in a moment. But let me run this real quick to let you know what game I'm talking about. The game that I'm referencing today is Fire Emblem. Yeah, Fire Emblem was announced as coming out for the Switch 2, and I've been doing Ogre Battle. Has been the game that I'm playing. Fire Emblem is the first. No, it's not the first, but for the NES or the Family System, the Famicom over in Japan, they had a real-time strategy role-playing game, and this was that same battle chess kind of gameplay where you move your warriors, your knights, your samurais, your ninjas, your dark knights, some mages and white mages, and you move them along a chessboard kind of a thing, a grid, and you play it like chess. And this was one of the first ones to do that. So this is the latest edition is coming out next year. They highlighted it, and I just wanted to highlight and rap about it for a second. I never really played it before. Like I said, Ogre Battle, the March of the Black Queen was my first kind of official one for the consoles that I had for the Super NES, and I used to play it all the time in college. And that was one of my it's one of my all-time favorite games, but I never finished it. I got a whisper, right? I remember making my army real big, and I had like a vampire in there, and I used to just send the vampire out to just murder everybody, and it would help build my army, but I never officially seen the official ending. So that's one game that that's on my bucket list, and let me knock out and play it and actually see the finishing. So I've been playing it again, and I'm sharing that occasionally when I can. But I can rap it on and on and on about these type of games, these type of role-playing games, these strategy role-playing games. But I'm going to jump right into the videos. But like I said, shout out to Kenyatta Black. I'm going to share 5 minutes of him, and then I'm going to share 5 minutes of Shaheed Bolson. Let them share that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to help you achieve freedom, justice, and equality. And I'll add my little 2 cents as I do a little demo on, I'll figure out the game. But I might do this game right here. I might do some Fire Emblem. We'll see what I can do and can't do. So check it out. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share. I'll try to do another video today, but y'all know my Eagles is about to come on, and I'm about to watch the Phillies too, and we'll see what I can and can't do, and how many videos I can get up today and tomorrow, and you know what I mean, because I do got a lot to go before I get to 1,000. Thanks again for checking me out. Thanks again for hitting that like button. Thanks again for sharing and all that y'all do to help me grow my channel, right? So I'll be right back, and yeah, my mic is on. I gotta cut my mic off now. I got the new music running too, and we'll see how it flows.
But maybe they went after Charlie Kirk because even though you're going after lower hanging fruit, so to speak, still sends a message. It still sends a message. And I believe, I hope, and I sincerely hope that after the several attempts on Trump's life, and now the taking of Charlie Kirk's life, I sincerely hope that you conservatives, I sincerely hope your eyes are open. I said a long time ago, it would seem to me as though these liberals are trying to pick a fight. Now, from where I'm sitting, it's a fight they can't win. It's a fight that they will absolutely get their asses kicked in. I mean, come on. You got a bunch of jellyback, limp-wristed fingernail painting dudes over there. Do they really want to pick this fight? Like, really? No, they don't want to pick this fight. But that's what they're doing. So when I said last week, should we give the liberals their own country? Yeah, I was being somewhat facetious, but not really. Kind of joking, but not really. Because look at what's happening. Is this country ready for another civil war? Especially at this juncture in this country's history? At this juncture in America's history, is America ready for another civil war? And especially a civil war of this type? You know, last time things were a little more cut and dry, right? It was the North versus the South. That's a hell of a lot easier to figure out. You know, you draw a line on the map and say, okay, all you people over there, you're on one side, and all of us over here, we're on this side. Where exactly are you drawing the line this time? This would be a hell of a lot more complicated. This would be a lot messier, because what does a conservative look like? What does a liberal look like? Well, so, you know what? Well, I'll take that back, because a lot of times you know a liberal when you see one. You know what I'm saying? Septum rings usually give it away. That's one indication. Pink hair, blue hair, purple hair, green hair. That usually gives it away. Yeah. So sometimes you definitely know a liberal when you see one, but you got liberals and conservatives living right next door to each other. If this were to bring about another civil war in America, it wouldn't be a situation of North versus the South. it would be a situation. The enemy would be your neighbor. Can America afford a civil war at all at this juncture of America's history? Especially a civil war that would be this fucking messy. And how would you, what, state against state? Conservative states versus the liberal states? Is that what we're going, like, this is threatening to tear the country apart. All because the liberals can't take a loss. They simply...
I'm going to talk about this boy, Charlie Kirk, who got shot in Utah. Him getting shot in Utah makes him, I believe, American number 18,533 who got shot in the U.S. this year, shot and killed. And I think that there were 3 more people who were killed, shot and killed in Colorado, just over the mountains, within hours of his shooting. And all the flags in America are going to fly half-mast, not for those 18,335 other victims, but they're going to fly half-mast for Charlie Kirk. That's just an observation. You can do with it what you will. I'll be honest, when I first heard that he had been shot, I made a joke about it on X. Because frankly, I'm just as used to theatrics coming out of America as I am used to gun violence coming out of America. And I thought that theatrics seemed more likely in this case. But when I did learn that he died, I deleted my post. I deleted it out of respect, not for him, but for the severity and for the solemnity of the judgment that he has now proceeded to. Because everything that he ever said and everything that he ever did that harmed anyone, well, he's going to answer for that. He's going to answer for that right now in his meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the heaviness of that meeting is disturbing to any of us who believe in it. But we'll talk about it. Let's start with the obvious, okay? First, I'm not going to feign grief or feign mourning for this person. I know that's a hypocrisy that social etiquette demands at a moment like this, but we all know that he would certainly not grieve for us. He certainly would not mourn for us, just as he never grieved and he never mourned for the wanton slaughter of the Palestinians in Gaza. He never grieved for that. And for myself personally, as a Muslim and as a critic of Western so-called civilization, I know that Charlie Kirk himself would most likely have officially anyway considered me to be his enemy. And as far as I'm concerned, any man whose enemy mourns him when he dies, well, he wasn't doing his job. And I don't think it can be said about Charlie Kirk that he didn't do his job, which is to say that he never did anything and he never said anything in his public life that would make me mourn his passing, just as I hope that I will never say or do anything in my public life that would make my enemies grieve for my passing. They should be happy when I die. Enemies are disturbed by each other's presence, not by each other's absence. But let me also be crystal clear about this. It doesn't make me happy either. I neither mourn nor celebrate. Neither of those reactions is appropriate, in my opinion. Whoever pulled that trigger didn't do it for me and they didn't do it for you. I don't even see them as being on two different sides. They didn't silence Charlie Kirk, they amplified Charlie Kirk. The power structure never cared about that boy. They used him. And he's more useful to them now than he was the day before. He's more useful to them dead than he was alive. Listen, you don't defeat someone like this, someone like a Charlie Kirk, a tool like him, by letting that tool mold you into exactly what they want you to be. That killer didn't deliver justice. If you think they did, he didn't. He delivered to the power structure an even more enhanced weapon. He made a mediocre, but dangerous and polarizing figure, Charlie Kirk, into now an impeachable icon for the very fan base that he most likely despises. And he made criticism of Charlie Kirk's ideas. Now it's disrespect for the dead. This is not resistance. This is a gift. This is a gift to the very security state that he probably thought he was attacking. No, it's stupidity. Or maybe, as the conspiracy theories are already speculating, what actually happened was just a purge of an expendable asset to create a more powerful symbol. Oh, they'll use his death. Oh, how they will use it. They will use his death to paint every dissenting voice, every cry for a more just world. They'll paint it with the same bloody brush. They're going to use his death to avoid, once again, ever having to look in the mirror. They're going to hold Charlie Kirk's body up as a shield against any examination of the society that created him. and the society that created his killer. The society that they made and that they rule, and you didn't do anything now but strengthen their hold on that society. They're going to use his corpse as a pulpit to preach from, and you just validated all the lies that they're going to be preaching. You understand me? Because listen, the truth is the Charlie Kirks of the world are not the enemy. The enemy is the society, it's the system, it's the power structure, it's the so-called civilization that creates boys like Charlie Kirk. I call him a boy because that's what he is to me. I'm 54 years old. That's what he is to me, or that's what he was. And also because he presented a childish, simplistic cartoon portrait of America that only a young boy could ever believe in. He presented an America without complexity, without guilt, without the burden of their terrible history. Well, that's a seductive product. And America has always been an eager market for that sort of a product.
There it is, there it is, there it is. So, I mean, we can dive it deep into that if y'all want, you know. But I'm trying to enjoy a good game, you know. I'm trying to, you know. So, like I said, I'm running. Let me turn that on for you, so that you can see what I'm doing. I'll cut that off, cut this off, and you should see. There it is. I'm running what's called Fire Emblem, the original game, but it's a redo of it. You know, we'll talk more about all that. I don't have all my stats in front of me. I'm hoping the title screen jump up soon. But you know, it's one of the games I might add to my repertoire in explaining. You can see it's running through the different jobs. Should I say a sword master? What else do they have? The sword master. Okay, the hit points is high, strength is weak, but I guess they got piercing blows or whatever. Season. Okay, they explain it all. Oh, the Lord. Okay, that must be the top player right there. Okay, that's who you start off with. I guess it's Marsh. Is usually Marth. Okay, yeah, Marth is the original, and you could play with him on. But this is Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon. And the lights, I think the Light Sword was the original name of the game, but this is a remake of it, the 2008-2009 remake of it. And I'm just running it, you know, just to, you know, I mean, to check it out a little bit, and you know, I guess I could start a new game, and it's on the Nintendo DS, and this is cool. It's got me choosing between normal and hard. And there it is, the prologue. Long ago, Medusa. Okay. Oh, Meduse, King of the Dragon Con. The Dragon King. Okay, conquered the continent of Arcania. But I mean, all these games are story-based. Even though it's a chess game, it's story-based. What else can I say about that? So the story is religious, it's political and scientific. So I mean, one of the things that I've been introducing to the seeds is that religion, politics, and science are three congruent angles in the same equilateral triangle, is what I used to say. You're dealing with a triangle with three 60-degree angles. It's not a right triangle. It's different, right? The right triangle has a 90-degree and then two sides. That's where the Pythagorean theorem comes into play. Now we're dealing with something that's equal, like three different equal sides, three different equal angles. You know what I mean? The perfect pyramids, in so many words, right? The perfect triangle. And I mean, there it is. When you don't have balance, that's when you get chaos. I would say, right? I mean, we can rap about that all day. Where I want to go with this? Well, we just heard. Let me hit the button, I guess. Get some more dialogue. We just heard my man Kenyatta Black give his thoughts on, because me and him, what we have in common is we both are pledging independent. Like, I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I'm not a conservative or a liberal. Like, y'all trying to put them labels on me, and it's like, dude, I wasn't Biden or Trump, but Biden really messed stuff up. Like, even a fool should be able to see that. You just don't open up the borders and let anybody in your house, right? Like, you know what I mean? When you invite somebody over to your house and they bring somebody you don't know, that person that brought over somebody that you don't know is just as responsible for bringing that person, right, than that person is. It's like, you know what I'm saying? So I invite you to my house, and for example, when you bring Mark Lamont Hill to my house, I'm gonna spit on the ground. Like, why you bring him to my house, dude? I don't mess with boy like that, all right? And it's like, well, why you hating? Listen, man, go ahead. You know how I feel about him. You know what I mean? Because he's a liar. Just like the boy, what's his name? The boy that lied about getting beat up by the two, Juicy Smollett, right? Like, I heard he got a new video out, and he's still lying. It's like, I know he's a liar, right? He's the type of person that cries wolf. When you deal with people that cry wolf all the time, it's like, yo, I can't trust them. You just, like, they're untrustworthy. Like, the scout rule is to be trustworthy, right? When you're trustworthy, then you can see who's not trustworthy. And those two names that I mentioned, clearly, right? Same with Umar Johnson, right? It's all right, we want to build a school. All right, me and my son or my daughter are coming to your school, and I want to be a part of your school, right? Because that's what it is supposed to be at all schools. You send your child to the school, but you're also supposed to be a part of that community. You're supposed to know the teachers, because the teachers live in the community, right? They're a part of the community, so you're supposed to be a part of the community. You're supposed to, be able to walk into the school, see the teacher, shake their hand, get a contact information if there's anything that you can do to help your son in that teacher's class. But we're dealing with a lot of, single, and I'm talking about the black community, right? Because we're dealing with a lot of single mothers, and because Democrats done convinced them to kick their man out the house, and now the man went out the house and went to the club and was rubbing on a bunch of big booty broads and all types of crazy, weird, dumb stuff, right? Instead of, right? Nah, I'm gonna do what I need to do to, right? But when you're dealing with a society that, let me hit this button again, right? And all this is from Kenyatta's aspect of it, right? When you're dealing with a bunch of dudes that don't want to do that, right? You can't build a fatherhood of God or a brotherhood of man with them. You could try, but it's foolish, because I'm not going to do that. Like, what are you going to do then, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go over here and, you know what I mean, hang with a bunch of big booty. All right. I'm gonna go over here and get drunk and do. All right. Like, I can't help you, right? I'm going to what? I'm gonna try to hook up with my man, Brent, and we gonna go read, or I'm gonna get my certifications like he told me to do, and I'm gonna try to go to these elementary schools and read, to let them know that black men can read too, right? Even if it's the Three Little Pigs, what's the other classic? Little Red Riding Hood, or the Boy Who Cried Wolf, or even the classic Pinocchio. Because I'm noticing with the left, they start talking about Pinocchio, they talking about Geppetto being the bad guy. Now, Geppetto wasn't the bad guy in that movie. Geppetto let his son, God gave him the gift to take the son off of the strings. So Geppetto let him go, but Geppetto gave him strict directions: go straight to school. And who deterred him from going to school? That same wolf that tried to eat Little Red Riding Hood. The same wolf that tried to eat the little boy that cried wolf. The same wolf that tried to eat the 3 little pigs. Are y'all starting to understand that? Now, y'all trying to identify who the wolf is, and we've been trying to be saying it for long. It's the Democrats. All right, what about the Republicans? Donald Trump is a Democrat. Instead of letting them bounce from side to side over and over and over again, let the Democrats die. That's what I've been preaching. So that, okay, they're all Republicans now. Okay, now we can rebuild, we can build the American party. We can even call it the foundational American political party if we like. We can call it whatever we want. But y'all hating on us calling ourselves foundational Black Americans. I do notice people recognizing us and saying foundational Americans, right? I do got a side eye on the ones that step up, the liberals that step up and say, what about foundational white Americans? Like, see, that's the same mindset that's destroying the country right now. It's you're excluding us, and then when we include you, we're the leaders. It is Starscream. Megatron falls down, right? And Starscream, Megatron is falling. Decepticons, follow me. Like dude, I'm not Megatron. I'm more like Optimus Prime, right? I'm more about sharing that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, not just so that my son can achieve freedom, justice, and equality, but all of his friends can do the same, because they are that next generation of higher infinite power healing our people, or AKA hip hop. I didn't. All right, and then Shaheed Bolson, he was self-explanatory. We're both 54 years old, so I mean, what he said, I mean, how else can you say it more eloquently? And I've been saying from the day one, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King were friends. They're the first two. I don't hate John F. Kennedy or Robert F. Kennedy. My parents see them as martyrs for Black people too, right? It's just that they were caught up in, because John F. Kennedy was clearly a Catholic, conservative Democrat. So who murdered him? Who knows? Because like Kenyatta Black was saying, they can play both sides of it all day long. You don't know who the enemy is. It's kind of like a Harry Potter book. You know what I mean? Who's down with Harry Potter and who's down with... All right, obviously y'all need to do some more reading, right? Because as soon as I say Harry Potter, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about love God, one God, our Father, all the time, hip hop life. One love, be happy just to have just one love. That's God is love, hip hop is life, time is holy. Money is nothing more than that fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist. Because hip-hop is actually the art of making the most out of life. Y'all can call it economics all you want. Keep basing it on money, and all I can do is pray for you and keep practicing peace and happiness and having a little bit of compassion for you. One, God is understood.